tole barattoota qaqqaalii baga nagaan gara Aliyi Science YouTube channel'tti nagaan dhuftanii har'as qormaata entrance barnoota chemistry bara 2017 yookiin bara 2025 barattoota kutaa 12f kenname deebii fi ibsa gahaa isaanii wajjin gaafilee 41 haga 60 jiraniif qormaata seensa University Ethiopia tiitoraalii paartii sadaffaa Afan Oromootiin qabadhee isiniif dhiyaadhee jira. So our tutorial is on chemistry entrance exam of 2017 or 2025 for grade 12 with answer and also with explanation from question from 41 up to 60. 2025 chemistry university entrance exam tutorial part 3 in Afan Oromo. So don't forget your video kan ilaaltan wanti isin dagachuun qabne maalidha indi bira VPN yookiin siphon banattanii ilaaluun dagatina. Sababni isaas gaafa VPN yookiin siphon banattanii ilaaltan video quality qabu kasirratti isin mul'atu waan argattaniif VPN yookiin siphon banattanii akka ilaaltan asumaan affeerraa kooti akkasuma video kana like gochuun Aliyi Science YouTube channel subscribe gochuun maatii Aliyi Science ta'uu hin dagatina. Gaafa like subscribe gootanii maatii Aliyi Science taatan waan an galaleekkisu dafee waan isin bira ga'uuf akkasuma videoon argattanis quality kan qabaatu waan ta'eef yeroodhaa yerootti yoo kan bira ga'u ta'e akkasuma VPN fi siphon banachuu baratanii ilaaluun dagatina. Sababni isaaf gaafa VPN yookiin siphon banattanii ilaaltan video quality waan argattaniif VPN fi siphon banattanii yookiin siphon banattanii akka ilaaltan asumaan affeerraa kooti. Akkasuma video kana like gochuun Aliyi Science channel subscribe gochuun maatii Aliyi Science ta'uu hin dagatina. So let us start our tutorial part 3 from question 41 up to 60. So let us start. Question number 41. Which of the following property is property of acid oxide? Acid oxide reactive with which one? Amalota armangadi keta amalota acid oxide kan bakka bu'u amalota armangadi keessa isa kam jira? Acid oxide kan wajji wal nyaatu isa kam faanadha. So that should be A. Acid oxide react with water to form what? Acid. So acid oxide are typically non-metal oxide like carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, and nitrogen oxide that react with water to produce acid. For example, sulfur dioxide react with water to form sulfurous acid, sulfurous acid. Thus, forming sulfurous acid shows acid nature of sulfur dioxide. So that's perfectly A. When we see other option, B, salt to form acid. See, acid oxide does not react with salt this way. When we see option C, base oxide to form hydroxide and water can use acid may react with basic oxide, but they form salt, not hydroxide. And also when we see option D, base to form acid oxide react with base to form what? Salt and water, not basic hydroxide. So that's perfectly A. Question number 42. What is the name given to an acid that dissociates or ionizes only to slight exact in aqueous solution? Maqaan acidii dissociate ta'u yookiin slight hamma tokko qofa kan bulbulamu acidii hamma tokko qofa bulbulamu maqaan kennamu isan arman gadi keessa isa kam jedha guutumaan guututti acidii hin bulbulamne jechuudha aga tokko bicha kan bulbulamu jechuudha. So that should be D, weak acid. Means that weak acid is the one that only partially ionized in aqueous solution. That means only a small fraction of its molecule release ions, hydrogen ions. The rest remain intact or constant in the solution. Example, acetic acid, carbonic acid we can take. When we see other options are not slightly dissociate in water. For example, when we see A, strong acid completely ionized in water. When we see option B, it refers to low concentration, not ionization strength. When we see option C, it is refers to high concentration, again, not ionization strength. So then perfectly D. Question number 43. Solution can be classified based upon their pH values. What is the solution whose pH value? Solution in pH value saratun daudan addaqonna kanafu solution in pH value isa kudha sadi ta'e maal jedhamuun beekamadha. So that should be C basic solution. Means that pH value 0 haga 14 jira 0 haga 6 kan jiru acidic dha. torba qofarra kan dhaabbate immoo neutral dha jechuudha. Bishaan jechuudha. Acidic base kan hin taane jechuudha. 8 haga 14 kan jiru ammoo base dha jechuudha. Kanaafuu yeroo jaarraa gara 0tti gad deemnu hamma acidummaan dabala akkasuma kan base ammoo faallaa saniti jechuudha. 8 irraa gara 14tti yeroo deemnu hammi basic dabala deemaa jechuudha. Kanaafuu solutionin pH isaa 18 ta'e base cimaadha jechuudha. Strongly basic dha jechuudha. Inni biraamoo amphoteric substance kan jennuun akka basic akka acidic kan act gochuu danda'udha. So that is perfectly C basic solution. Question number 44. During laboratory class, a student placed a clean water in beaker and added a piece of calcium metal using tongs. After the reaction is completed, he or she tested the solution using red litmus paper. Which of the following will be observed? Yeroo barnoota laboratory keessatti barataan tokko bishaan qulqulluu beekaritti naqee ergasii sibiila kaalsheemii xinnoo tokko maqasaan qabuudhaan gaafa keessa buusu erga reactionin sun dhumate booda yookiin raawwate booda litmasii waraqaa litmasiidhaan gaafa solutionii kana waraqaa litmasii keessa kaa'u barataan kun maal argaa yookiin barattuun kun maal argitiidha. So that should be B. The litmus paper turns to blue. Means that when calcium metal is added to water, it reacts to form calcium hydroxide and hydrogen gas. So calcium hydroxide is a strong base, making solution is alkaline. So red litmus paper turns to blue in the basic solution. So the answer should perfectly be. It turns red, it happens as acidic solution, not basic solution. When we see option A, can chasolalo, its litmus paper does not become colorless, and also diolalu only if solution is neutral, not which is not exist or not isn't. So that should perfectly be. Question number 45. Which of the following statement correctly describes the relationship between among wavelengths, frequency, speed in electromagnetic radiation? Isaan himoota armaan gadii keessa waa'ee walitti dhufeenya wavelengths, frequency fi speed electromagnetic radiation keessatti sirrii kan ibse isa kam jedha. So that should be A. As wavelengths decrease, frequency increase. Means that in electromagnetic radiation flow, the relationship is that the speed of light is equal to wavelength times frequency. So speed of light is constant in vacuum. Wavelength is L is wavelength and V is frequency. So speed of light is constant. Wavelengths and frequency are inversely related. So if wavelengths decrease, frequency increase, and if wavelengths increase, frequency decrease. So the answer perfectly A. When we see other option, B is not correct, C and D are also not correct. While they are not correct, I have written them, so read. Question number 46. Which of the following organic compound has highest boiling point? Organic compound are mangadi kessa boiling point qabxii daffina guddaa kan qabu isa kam jedha. So that should be B, ethanol. Means that ethanol has high boiling point, which is 78 degrees Celsius. Ethanol contains hydroxyl group, which allows it to strong hydrogen bond between its molecules. So hydrogen bonding is significantly increase boiling point compared to other compound similar molecular weight. So kan wal bira qabne yoo laallu ethane baay'ee hundarrayyuu baay'ee dadhabaadha jechuudha. Qabxi boiling point isa baay'ee gadaanaadha jechuudha. Ethanenis ittaaneeti gadaanaadha. Ethanolin diqqoo isarraa wayyaadha. 21 jechuudha boiling point isa. Garuu immoo ethanolin baay'ee guddaadha. Hydrogen bonding waan qabuuf jechuudha. Qabxiin daffina isaa 78 degree Celsius dha jechuudha. So thank you perfectly B. Question number 47. What is Lewis base? It is Lewis base jechuun maal jechuudha? Inni kana kamitedha. So that should be C. it is electron pair donor. Means that the loose base is substance that donates an electron pairs to form covalent bond. This definition comes from Lewis acid base theory, which focus on movement of electrons, not protons. Common example: ammonia donates lone pairs, and also hydroxyl ion donate electron to form bonds. When we see other options are not correct, for example, if we see A, it is bonus lower base, not spaghetti loose base. If we see B, it is also bonus lower acid. And we see D, that is defined loose acid counterpart to loose base, so that you perfectly see. Question number 48. Given the following information which of the following expression represents percent ionization of acetic acid? Acetic acid يمكن مو إسهار ما قالين نكنا مكانه فو قابلت كيسا نكنا مكان رتون داودان percent ionization كبكبو formula أباج عدا رجلو خنا كيسا إسا كم جرا, so that should be A. Look, percent ionization is the ratio of concentration of ionized acid to initial concentration of acid or base multiplied by 100, which means that percent ionization is equal to concentration of ionized acid divided by initial concentration of the acid times 100%. So from the given table, concentration of ionized ion is X at equilibrium X, and initial concentration of the given compound is 0.2 molar per liter. So percent ionization is equal to X over 0.2 times 100%. So that is perfectly A. Question number 49. Scandium has the electron configuration argon 4s2 3d1. To which group of element does it belong to? Scandium electron configuration argon 4s2 v 3d tokko kan qabaatu yoo ta'e elementin kun garee kam keessatti argama jedha. So that should be A, transition element. Means that scandium has what? Electron configuration argon plus 4s2 3d1, which means that electrons is d orbital keessatti argama. So defining the future of transition element ta'uusaa asumarraa d orbital keessatti kanneen argaman elementoota ce'umsaa transition element dha jechuudha. Located in 3 group, garee sadaffaa keessatti argama jechuudha. 3D waan ta'eef jechuudha. Break table keessatti garee sadaffaa keessatti argama. Blocking inni argamu D keessatti property inni qabatamoo transition metal property qabata jechuudha. Forming color, compound and variable oxidation state kanneen qabanidha jechuudha. So that is perfectly A. B yoo fudhanne representative elementonni SPP block keessatti argamu, not D block keessatti hin argamani. Non metal yoo fudhanne kun ammoo scandium metalidha waan ta'eef non metal miti asumatti ol gataniiru. Daas wana inner transition element illee miti jechuudha. Inner transition element kanneen jennuun F block keessatti elementoota argamanidha, kanneen akka lactandise fi actandise kanneen jennuun jechuudha. So that is perfectly A. Question number 50. A student carry out an experiment to determine melting point of sodium chloride and copper chloride. He or she added 0.2 gram of sodium chloride and copper chloride into 2 different test tubes and heated. So in here barata kana maal to kenname akka experiment tokko melting point sodium chloride ti copper chloride akka adda baasu experiment dha kenname fi jira. Kanafu test tube lama keessatti copper chloride fi sodium chloride lamaanu garagaratti grami 0.2 grami tu test tube keessatti naqeera. Suutaan jedhe Bansan Barnaard lamaan isaaniitu gaafa ho'isu himoota armaan gadi keessa regard why melting point sodium chloride fi copper chloride himota mangadi kesa inni dhugaa ta'e isa kam inni sirrii ta'e isa kam jedham. So that should be A, the melting point of sodium chloride is higher than that of copper chloride. Here the sodium chloride has what melting point is a degree Celsius ida. Copper in mo copper chloride in melting point is at degree Celsius. This means that sodium requires significantly more heat than melting compared to copper chloride. So when both are heated simultaneously, with Bunsen burner, copper will melt first, copper chloride will melt first, and the sodium chloride may not melt at under typical life condition. Kanafu lamaan isaaniitu gaafa wal bira laallu copper chloride dafee baqa, sodium chloride ammoo odoo hin baqne tura jechuudha. Maaliif ho'a guddaa waan barbaaduuf jechuudha. Kanaafuu deebiin isaa aataa melting point sodium chloride isa copper chloride irra guddaadha jechuudha. Filannoo biroo yoo laallu ammoo baarra kan jiru faallaa aati. Question number 51. Consider the molecular structure of carbon oxygen chloride shown, or it is known as phosgene structure. What is predicted bond angle of chlorine carbon oxygen and chlorine carbon chlorine? Kanafu phosgene kuni bond angle chlorine carbon oxygen fi chlorine carbon chlorine jiddatu umamu danda'u bond angle akkamitti umamu danda'edha. So that should be C. Chlorine carbon oxygen is less than 120 degree, and chlorine carbon chlorine is greater than 100 degree angles, which means that phosgene has trigonal planar geometry around the central carbon atom due to what? sp2 hybridization. So ideally all angles are equal, but would be 120, but due to difference in electronegativity and bond repulsion, it causes a slight difference or deviations. So oxygen is more electronegative than chlorine, pulling electron density strongly and compressing chlorine carbon oxygen angle below, slightly below 120 degree, and this compression causes chlorine carbon chlorine angle to expand slightly, making above 120 degree. So that you perfectly see. Question number 52. What is the cause of unusual high boiling point of hydrogen sulfide, hydrogen fluoride, water and ammonia? Boiling point in Captain Dafina compound dikannini hydrogen fluoride bishani fi ammonia akka guddaatu kan godhu sababbi isan jiddu saneti mal qabani fi jedha. So that should be D, hydrogen bonding. Means that hydrogen bonding causes high boiling point because it creates strong intermolecular force attraction that require more energy to break when substance transition from liquid to gas. So all hydrogen fluoride, water and ammonia all exhibit hydrogen bonding, particularly strong type of bond strong type of intermolecular force that occurs when hydrogen is bonded to highly electronegative atoms like fluorine, oxygen and nitrogen. So that is perfectly D. Question number 53. Which statement below describe correctly the assumption in kinetic theory of gases? Himota arman gadi kessa assumptioni yookiin tilmaama kinetic theory gaasii sirrii kan ibsa isa kam jedha. So that should be A. Gas molecules are in random motion with no interaction. Means that gas molecules are what? In constant random motion. Collision between molecules and the container walls are perfectly elastic. So there are no intermolecular force, that meaning no interactions between the gas particles. So the volume of gases molecule is negligible compared to the container, and the kinetic energy, average kinetic energy of gas molecule is directly proportional to temperature in Kelvin. So that is perfectly A. Option B, C, D are not correct. Why they are not correct? I have rewritten them, so read them. Question number 54. If the rate of diffusion of certain unknown gas is half times the rate of diffusion of the helium, what will be the molar mass of unknown gas? Atomic mass of helium is 4 gram per mole. Rate in diffusion gas in beekamne tokko lammaffaa rate diffusion helium kan ta'u yoo ta'e molar massin gas hin beekamne kana meeqa ta'edha? Molar mass in helium, atomic mass helium in 4 gram per mole yoo kan ta'u ta'edha. So that should be D 16 gram per mole. So to solve this, we use Gram's law diffusion, which is rate of division 1 over rate of division 2 equal to mass of molar mass of gas 1 over molar mass of gas 2 in square root. So in here, rate of unknown gas is half of the helium, which is rate of unknown gas over rate of helium equal to 1 over 2. So molar mass of helium is 4 gram per mole. So then put into the Gram's law. 1 over 2 is equal to what? 1 over 2 is equal to the square root of 4 over molar mass of gas 2. So then square both sides. Square root balleessuun amma algoona lama gama lachuu square goona ganaafu square root nimbada afur jala mass of unknown molar mass of unknown gas yennaani kanaafu ergasi ammoo kana gaafa rearrange goonu criss cross gaafa goonu molar mass of unknown gas equal to 4 times 4, which is equal to 60 gram per mole. So that is perfectly D. Question number 55. A student added boiling chips into a beaker of water while carrying out an activity to determine the boiling point of water. Why do you think boiling chips are necessary? Barataan tokko boiling chips beakerii keessatti dabaluudhaan akka qabxii dafina bishaanii kana hubachuudhaaf keessa kan buuse yoo ta'e barataan kun chips baay'ee daffe maaliif bishaan keessa buuse jettanii maaliif barbaachisa jedha. So that should be B, to ensure a smooth rate of evaporation. Kanaafu bishaan suutaan akka hurkuuf jechuudha wanta chips yoo akana daffaa kana wanta bishaanitti buuse jechuudha. So boiling chips or also called boiling stone, okay, so porous material that provide nucleations site for bubble formation during the boiling. This helps to prevent superheating and bumping, which can cause sudden volatile boiling. They promote steady controlled boiling by allowing vapor bubbles to form more easily. Without them, liquid can superheat and boil explosions explosively, which is both unsafe and inaccurate for measurement like boiling point. So that's perfectly B. When we see option A, C, D are not correct, why they are not correct, I've written them. So read boiling chips do not increase the rate of evaporation. When we see they do not reduce the energy needed to boil water. When we see D, not boiling chips, it is control external condition. So that is perfectly B. Question number 56. What is the oxidation number of manganese in potassium manganese oxide? So can have oxidation number manganese in compound can examine. So that should be D, positive 7. Here, to determine oxidation number of manganese in this compound, let's break down all. Potassium in always in ronda positive toko charge in satura ionizes toko can oxygen negative lama manganese one bene let's call it Bx. So then compound can case hunda yolit neutrally one tave one sani oxidation number hunda sani gafolit edanu 0 ni kanu abajur kanafu 1 potassium plus x magnesium plus 4 oxygen is equal to what? 0. So kana gafolit edanu tokko edau x edau afurba isu negative lama is equal to 0 kana chun tokko edau x isu saddeti 0 ta kanamo x tire isu torba 0 ta tawate gatinta geteta positive torba ta chura kanafu manganese has what? Oxidation number of positive 7 in this compound. Question number 57. 2-methyl 1-butene is one of the isomer of carbon 5H10. Which of the following correct structural formula for this isomer? Kanafu isomer nu akkata nu itti dubbisu dandeenyu 2-methyl 1-butene kan qabu compound armaan gadi keessa structure isomer isa kam jedha. So that should be A. Look, 2-methyl 1-butene branched alkene with molecular formula kana wajin gaafa kenyu break gone gaafa kenyu butene carbon afur qaba kanafu chain dheeraa butene ta'a jechuudha. Kana 1-butene kan jennuun double bond start at what? At carbon number 1 irraa ka'uu isaan agarsiisa jechuudha. 2-methyl gaafa jennu carbonin methyl groupin carbon number 2 irratti hidhamuu isaan agarsiisa jechuudha. So structure dhaan gaafa kennu 1-butene 2-methyl jenne haala kanaan dubbifnaa jechuudha. Kanaafuu 2-methyl 1-butene jenne haala kanaan kenna jechuudha. So filannoo biraa walaallu baarra kan jiru 3-methyl 1-butene mul'isa. Caarra kan jiru pent 2e ni mul'isa. Daara kan jiru hodhaan 2-methyl 2-butene mul'isa. Kanaafuu deebiin sirriin aarra kan jiru jechuudha. So that is perfectly A. Question number 58. Which of the following organic compound is used for production of 1,2-ethanediol? Organic compound armaan gadi keessa 1,2-ethanediol oomishuudhaaf kan fayyadamnu isa kam jedha. So that should be B. Ethene. Means that 1,2-ethanediol, also known as ethylene glycol, is commonly produced from ethene through 2-step industrial process. These are, first, ethene is oxidized to ethylene oxide. Then in step 2, ethylene oxide is then hydrolyzed into ethylene glycol. So that perfectly B. The other options are not correct. A, for example, if we take A, it is saturated hydrocarbon. Ethane is not reactive enough for this synthesis. When we see ethanol, it is already contained 1 OH group, but not used industrially to make ethylene glycol. When we see D, ethyne, triple bond alkyne, not preferred route for these production diols. So that is perfectly B. Question number 59. Which of the following is the main constituent of natural gas? Isaan armaan gadi keessa qabiyyee gaasii uumamaa guddaa kan ta'e baay'inaan gaasii uumamaa keessatti kan argamu isa kam jedha. So that should be C. Methane. Means that natural gas primarily composed of methane, which is typically make up of 70 to 90% of its volume. So methane is the simplest hydrocarbon consisting 1 carbon atom and 4 hydrogen atoms. It is colorless, odorless, and highly flammable, making it an efficient fuel source. So that is perfectly C. The other options are not found in natural gas as a main or dominant natural gas. For example, butane is found as a liquid petroleum gas, not dominant in natural gas. Ethane is also present in a small amount of natural gas, but not the main component. Propane is found in liquefied petroleum gas, not in dominant natural gas. So that is perfectly C. Question number 60. In order to avoid the decrease in quality of some clothes after washing with water, which of the following chemical is used to dry cleaning? Uffata ku erga miicine booda qualitiin isaa akka gad hin buune keemikaalli itti fayyadamnu uffata san gosuudhaaf keemikaalota armaan gadi keessaa isa kam jedha. So the answer should be C, which is known as tetrachloroethylene or perchloroethylene. Perchloro or tetrachloroethylene is the main solvent used in traditional drying cleaning. It is effectively dissolves oils, greases, other stains which without water, which helps to preserve the texture, color, and shape of delicate fabric like silk, wool, and rayon. The other options are not correct. Why they are not correct, I have been writing them. Read them. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget like, subscribe, share, comment, and listen to channel. Video kana waan dhaggeeffataniif guddaa galatoomaa. garuu wanti isin dagachuun qabne maalidha warri laayikiin goone ammoo viidiyoo kana laayik gochuun akkasuma Aliyi YouTube channel subscribe gochuun akkasuma hiriyoota fi telegraamaafis telegraam irrattis share gochuun dagatina yeroo itti aanu tiituraalee paartii arfaffaa gaafilee 61 haga 80 jiran yookiin haga dhumaa jiran qabadhee hanga dhufutti yeroo gaarii isin haa ta'u if you have any question or suggestion please write under comment gaafii yookiin komii yookiin wanta isiniif hojjedhu qabaattan karaa komentii naa barreessuun dagatina yeroo itti aanu viidiyoo biraa tiituraalee paartii arfaffaa gaafii 61 haga 80 jiran haga qabadhee hanga dhufutti yeroo gaarii isin haa ta'u thank you welcome back again